Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today's video is about another trip to the track with the good old S10. For those that haven't watched the previous videos, I'd recommend you go back and watch them. I've tested a bunch of different stuff. Different carbs, different fuel, EFI versus carb, different headers, gear ratios, tires. Anyway, here we are back with it. So anyway, went to the track because Cecil, which if you pay attention to the other videos, he was the one with the 406 that was on the dyno. He put it in his C10 pickup, so it weighs quite a bit. Well, anyway, he came to the track and he asked if I would come. Why not give it a shot? The previous video, what I'd done is tested gas versus methanol, and I'd done it on slick, so I wouldn't have to worry about traction. And it did hook up and everything went fine. So this time I was like, well, let's put it back on the radials. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know that the radials actually are faster when they hook up. Now, the radials had never been on the truck when it had methanol. The methanol definitely adds torque, and it shows up big time as far as the power-wise, at least as far as the ETs. So I was trying to see if these tires would actually run faster with the methanol setup, because like I said, they'd gone faster before. So before with the gas carburetor, if I could get these radials to hook up, it's always faster. So since the gear change, though, I will say that having the radials, it hits in the rev limiter pretty hard at the end of the track, which I figured since it's on methanol, it's going to be even worse, which it was. So we'll give the rundown. So this is the first pass. By the way, I should back up just a little bit. Since this was kind of like spur of the moment, I couldn't get Bishop to come to do a lot of recording. So you're really only going to see like the one video of it going down the track, not me recording, and then some GoPro footage. So the first pass, this is me being an idiot. So pretty much what you can learn from this video is what not to do. What I had done was I was looking at the videos from the previous week's runs, and I tightened up the shocks these are QA1 single adjustables on the front, and I tightened them 3 clicks. So in other words, full loose to 3 clicks forward. And I had the rear tire set at 12 pounds. And this is what happened. I messed up, completely messed up. I did the burnout, but when I finished the burnout, it was still in a wet part of the concrete. And well, as you can imagine, it didn't hook up. And this is the times you see. This is the next pass. So at this point, what I changed was I loosened it up, 1 click on the shocks on the front, dropped the tire pressure down to 12. And I also made sure when I did the burnout that I actually went through the water, and this is where it got. This looks like it's not that bad, but oh my God, in the truck I felt it. So yeah, it took off, and then it started just bouncing the rear tire hard for a while, bad. So it was wheel hopping really bad, which I didn't think you could do with Caltrax, but it turns out you can. So, yeah, By the way, I'm leaving at 3,500 RPMs. On the slicks, I was leaving at 5,500 or 5,800 RPM. I have to leave so low because there's no way it'll take it. It'll just burn it off. So, yeah, this run sucked too. Not very good, and definitely, since this was more of a full pass, I was on the rev limiter before the end traps even was, so I had backed off. I just let it coast to this like 1106, and not very good. This would be the next pass. So on this one, I fully loosened the shocks and was going to do a really pretty heavy burnout and see what it does. But then Cecil's like, why don't we run together? Well, I got in the other lane, not the normal lane that I was in. So Cecil's number 109 and I'm 721. Here's what happened. The driver screwed up yet again. In order for me to do like a burnout or to use the trans brake, I actually have a switch up above me that hits those. So I have to hit that switch first and another switch before the line lock or trans brake will work. So in other words, there's actually 2 switches in the micro switches on the shifter. I forgot to turn on the very first one, so it never had power to any of the other switches. Hence, I couldn't do a burnout at all, and it was sounding like crap, and I was pretty angry with the whole thing. So no burnout. That's why you see a 193. I mean, I tried doing a burnout, but didn't realize it wasn't working at all. That's why the 60 foot's horrible. and Cecil's in the other lane, and he's running pretty good. I remember he's almost 1,000 pounds heavier than me. His truck, for whatever reason, is really bad in the heat. When it cools off, it's so much quicker, probably because it needs every ounce of power to get that heavy thing to move. But yeah, that sucked. So because of that, what I did was I hot lapped it. So as soon as I got done racing, I didn't even go back to the pits. I drove back in line and got right back in line. So what you can see here is it's about 5 minutes after the last run. So here's why the last run sucked. Yeah, I forgot to turn on the switches. There's 2 switches I have to switch to make the line lock work. So I forgot to turn them on. So anyway, this is the same pass. I just got back in line and ran it. And as you can tell, on 1077. So this is almost beating the fastest time it's ever run. It's really close. It's only 500ths worse. So, but really, really close. And the mile an hour is looking really good too. And however, it's still hitting the rev limiter the entire, before I'm even in the mile per hour traps at the end of the quarter. So it's, yeah, it just is what it is. So yeah, not bad, but not great. At this point, I get the wild idea, hey, you know what's limiting me is just turn up the main rev limiter at the end. Let it go all the way up. Because in all fairness, I had been setting the rev limiter at 8,000 RPM, and it keeps kicking on at like 7,700 RPM at the end of the track. So I'm like, screw it, let's do like 8,200. Well, at that point, it actually clicks in at 8,000. And that's this pass. The only reason why I ran quicker is really because the rev limiter wasn't getting banged as much at the end. But pretty much the same. So I was like, yes, now this makes the fastest the truck has ever gone as far as times. 1076 is about 100th quicker than it ever went on a slick with the methanol. So this makes, truly it's its fastest pass, but not great at all. Leaving at 3,500 RPM. It's soft down low. It's got a worse 60 foot than the slicks. 8th mile time is about the same though, which is weird. So anyway, there you go. So I'm going to try some more stuff. Here's what next that happens. These are the last 2 passes of the night. And yet again, I hot lapped. So this first pass that you're looking at right here, here's what I did. I turned on the rev limiter to 3,800 RPM, so on the launch. So thinking I'm going to get it to hook up more. But if you look at the DA, I thought, oh, this is going to be a great weather to race at. Well, the temperature is down, but the humidity kept rising. So you're looking at 80% humidity. So what I think was happening was, and I'm trying to get traction, but I think it's just getting moisture on the track just because there's so much humidity in the air. And it was cooling down. There was even getting dew on the grass. So I think that's why it wasn't hooking up, but I thought that wasn't it. So this first pass, not good, of course. So I got frustrated, so I just got right back in line, and that's this pass. What's interesting is it went slightly faster the second time. Neither of the times hooked up. Neither time. Both passes, the truck did not hook up. It spun, and I grabbed it and took off. So, which is kind of amazing I can recover that quick, and as close as what they are to each other. But the quicker time was the second run. I think it may be just because it had more heat in it. go. That's how the truck did. Made a total of 7 passes, and here's what I've learned from those 7 passes. One, I hate those tires, or truly do. Two, I'm trying to get some Mickey Thompsons, but anyway, the second thing I learned is this with this methanol carburetor in that 5-gallon cell, 2 runs is all you can get. You absolutely have to fill it up. Here's something weird about it. When it gets really low after the second run, it almost doesn't want to run, even though there's enough fuel in the fuel cell. It's because I think what's happening is it's shooting air every now and then, and it doesn't want to run worth a damn. Which also brings up another point. This carburetor, because it's made for blow through, and the power valve is all blocked off like it is now to run NA, it hates that 3,500 RPM, which is the only RPM that I can get to launch at. So yeah, that's something else to learn. Overall, in this entire time, made 7 passes and only 2 got to hook up. That sucks. Probably the most passes I made on any vehicle at the track in one day. Quite a bit, but only 2 that hooked up, so that sucked. Now, I'm gonna show you a couple other things. I think you might find these interesting. This may be part of the problem. I have QA1 adjustable shocks in the front and rear. This is the rear one. And by the way, I've only got single adjustables. I wish I had dual adjustables. I don't know, maybe when I get some more money or something. But if you look at this, this is the rear shock. It's only got like 1 inch of travel down. But in all fairness, when you launch, it usually separates, so they're extending, not shrinking. Maybe. I think during the bounces may be different, but I don't know that this is helping. I did ask QA1 if they've got a shorter shock, they could do some weird things so they could put this tie bar in the top that mounts. So they can. We do have a shock that would work, but I just haven't switched it over. I don't have the money for it, to be honest with you. I mean, I have the money, but what I want to spend it on isn't this. Maybe I'll get some better shocks, like some Vikings or something. Dual adjustables that'll work better. I don't know. We'll see, but that's one interesting thing. But here's something else. I wanted to show you this car. This is a guy that goes with us, and I'm going to call him Go Lean because you can't go rich. Might as well go lean, you know what I mean? But no, this is his car. He's got a set of these Iron Killer heads that I did for him. And these are the ones I talk about that dynoed. I think it made like 560 horsepower. This is a 406 stock block, small block Chevy. I expect the cam. I didn't really do any port work to these Iron Killer heads. All I did was put a bigger 208 intake valve and blended the chambers and then the bowl. That's it. So there's like no port work, pretty much. I mean, you could call that port work, but not really. Anyway, saw roller cam. I think it's like a 650 lift. But this thing flies. Now, granted, it doesn't weigh much. So watch this video of it. He left in second, so this isn't even leaving him first. The thing runs pretty good. I think he runs like 650s in the 8th. I think he's gone a little bit faster, like 646. But that's pretty good. I mean, for what that engine is, it's good. So anyway, and look at this video. You'll like this. Last thing I want to show you is Cecil's truck. Now, this is that 406 that you saw getting dynoed. Not Tony's. This one's Cecil's. This is the one where it's been on the dyno and I got humbled. That's this one. So as you could tell, his truck is essentially it's stock. He even has stock control arms that he just welded some bracings on. It's heavy. I know you're like, well, what's up with the paint job? Well, because he had a guy who was supposed to paint it and kind of didn't work out or whatever. But he's working on it. He'll eventually finally get it painted. But yeah, this isn't, for what it is, it really is a strong running truck. And most times when we go out to the track, he's definitely one of the quicker NA full-size trucks for sure. So, and he's been 11-0s with this truck. I think if he gets some cool weather, he'll probably hit his 10 finally. But anyway, I thought I'd show you this real quick. So watch a video of him running.